The Russian government has publicly declared war on the United States of America. Deputy Chairman of the Security Council of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, said that Russia will harm Americans in every possible way and cause destruction everywhere in the West. Vladimir Putin's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov, called America Russia's enemy. Since Russia has committed the entire nation to attacking America, America needs to invoke Article 5 of the NATO Charter and defend itself from Russia jointly with America's allies, who are also under Russian attack. Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty states, "The parties agree that an armed attack against one or more of them in Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all, and consequently they agree that, if such an armed attack occurs, each of them, in exercise of the right of individual or collective self-defense, recognized by Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations, will assist the party or parties so attacked by taking forthwith, individually and in concert with the other parties, such action as it deems necessary, including the use of armed force, to restore and maintain the security of the North Atlantic area." Recognizing that foreign aggression now takes many modern forms, and that there are diverse threats in this new age of hybrid, nonlinear, asymmetric warfare, NATO has included cyber attacks as grounds for invoking Article 5. For NATO, a serious cyber attack could trigger Article 5 of our founding treaty. This is our collective defense commitment where an attack against one ally is treated as an attack against all. We have designated cyberspace a domain in which NATO will operate and defend itself as effectively as it does in the air, on land, and at sea. This means we will deter and defend against any aggression towards allies, whether it takes place in the physical world or the virtual one. Dmitry Medvedev openly stated that Russia is waging war on the United States of America and described some of the forms Russia's attacks take. Every day we must try to inflict maximum harm on those countries that have imposed these restrictions on our country and all our citizens. Harm in everything in which harm can be done. Harm to their economies, their institutions, and their rulers. Harm to the well-being of their citizens, their confidence in the future. To do this, we must continue to look for the critical vulnerabilities of their economies and hit them in all areas. Cause damage in all places, paralyzing the work of their companies and government agencies. Find problems in their most important technologies and strike them mercilessly. Literally destroy their energy, industry, transport, banking, and social services. Instill fear of the imminent collapse of all critical infrastructure. Are they afraid of handing over our weapons to the enemies of the Western world? We must transfer to them all possible types of weapons, except nuclear, for now. Are they afraid of anarchy and an explosion of crime in major cities? We must help disorganize their municipal government. Are they afraid of war in space? This means they will receive it too. Let everything stop for them. Let everything deteriorate. Let everything go to hell. Are they afraid of social explosions? Let's arrange them. We need to throw all the most ominous night terrors into their media sphere. Use all their terrible phantom pains. There is no need to spare their psyche anymore. Let them shiver in their cozy homes. Let them shiver under the blankets. Are they yelling about our use of fake news? Let's turn their life into a complete crazy nightmare in which they will not be able to distinguish wild fiction from the realities of the day, infernal evil from the routine of life, and no rules regarding the enemy. Let them get everything in full for harming Russia and as painfully as possible. Everyone can contribute. Medvedev's meltdown is as much a confession of the war Russia has been waging on the West for many decades, as it is an affirmation that the Russians will continue and escalate these aggressive existential attacks and others on America and the West. Medvedev's depiction of Russia's war on the West in general, and America specifically, describes in exact detail the psychological warfare and instigation of social unrest and civil strife that Russian intelligence has been perpetrating against Americans for decades now, not just his plans for the future. Russia employs a vast and well-coordinated army of traitorous American and British Antifa, neo-Nazis and alt-right demagogues, politicians, celebrities, alternative media figures, influence agents, and social media moguls who have together been terrorizing the Western world with pro-Russian, anti-American propaganda and fear porn, which instills gross anxiety and uncertainty in the minds of Americans and renders it difficult for them to discern what is real and what is not, or to make any rational judgments regarding their lives, their nation, and their political views. Russian intelligence uses its fifth column of treacherous Western assets to generate constant apprehension about the future in street battles between Russian-controlled Antifa and pro-Russian neo-Nazis and alt-right groups, and to spread the demoralizing lies that diseases do not exist, that nuclear weapons are fake, that the Earth is supposedly flat, and satellites either alternatively do not exist or project directed energy weapons that are deflected by blue objects as they supposedly set major fires, that all acts of terrorism are staged by crisis actors, that every act of Russian aggression is justified by the West's mere existence as free and open societies, that every despicable crime that Russians commit are instead the supposed acts of Americans and the CIA, that when Russia threatens to destroy the world with nuclear weapons, it is America that is to blame, that when Russia aggressively attacks other nations, it is America's fault, that Russians are holy, strong, and pure, and Americans are evil itself, that the US dollar is about to lose all value and be replaced by a BRICS currency, that aliens are about to destroy humanity, that biblical giants are real, that there is no physical reality and everything is just a computer simulation, that everything must of necessity devolve into the total destruction of the world, that there can be no political solutions to any problems, etc. Medvedev's express battle plan of attack is nothing new. Russians have been conducting precisely this aggressive war on Americans and Europeans for decades without reprisals or any effective countermeasures, and the alternative media and Republican, Green, and Libertarian parties are filled with their well-funded and heavily promoted agents. In the face of these ongoing Russian attacks and public threats which seek to undermine and destroy American society and the American people, America should invoke Article 5 of the NATO Charter and call upon all its allies to join with the United States in defeating Russia and defending America in the West by jointly countering the Russians and taking appropriate steps to defeat them and their fifth column of traitors and spokesmen in the West.